everyone is aware of, why abroad. This question definitely pops up when we think of why abroad. Essential that you should be aware of where you're going. Sometimes a why abroad question is from parents mostly, and sometimes it's from the student as to when I can study in India, why abroad. So essential that these are not the most important points. Why abroad is just one of the factors that you need to keep in mind. But why abroad? Because you will become independent. Essential that when you choose an international country, whether you're traveling outside the country or you've been living, alone for a very first time, studying abroad actually pushes you to become an independent and self-sufficient person. There are, of course, there are challenges that come, and this is incredibly rewarding. Let me tell you, it is definitely going to be incredibly rewarding. And students often say that studying abroad was a period of an experience and for them, for their personal growth. Most important other factor, not the main points, but the factor is that you learn about various cultures. Studying abroad does expose you to many people, many cultures, and the way of life, the way of looking at things and perspectives will change. So our society is more global now, and it does help to experience and expose to various cultures, which helps in your personal growth to make you a better student, to make you a better person, and to make you a better employee. Now coming to the employee point of view, yes, you will stand out to future employers. You will gain valuable skills while studying abroad, and employers will take a notice of that you are quite different from what normally other students or other employees would look. So you will be strong in communication, because when you go abroad, various cultures that you learn, various languages that you learn, definitely there's a language improvement which does help the student to understand how he or she can face an employer. And when it is good in communication, you will have a better interpersonal skills and gain street smartness, and that will make you think more critical and will make you more independent in terms of figuring out what you need to do with your job search part. Another important factor is that you will learn more about yourself. Yes, it is said that the comfort zone starts only when the real world starts when you come out of the comfort zone. And here's what it is: when you remove yourself from the comfort zone, you expect a lot. You will get a lot of personal growth. You will be definitely having moments where you will have homesickness, where you will have language barriers. You will be dealing with foreign currencies. But trust me, this experience of why abroad will at the end make you feel, wow, I did it. Okay, you'll expand your networks. Essential, because when you go abroad, not only that you have to have Indian friends, but we suggest you make different community friends, because it helps a lot. It helps a lot in networking for the future, because you will make long-term friends. You will realize that sometimes having a new friend is really difficult, but it is good. You will have someone who lives in a totally different country. You will have a network in that country. Okay, whether or not you are bonding with someone else from another country who is on a same trip, might be having a same kind of liking or disliking the way you have. So you may gel well with people of different communities, of different cultures and different languages, but these ultimately become your long-term references when it comes to networking. You will bring all these new skills to your home when you come back, if in case, because most students, they would want to settle down, but in case if you're coming back, then definitely coming home after a semester, say maybe staying for a year or maybe few years, and then abroad can bring forward all sorts of emotions. Reverse culture shock is expected, but ultimately the skills that you bring in is going to be really, really very helpful to you. Now coming to the most important discussion that we are in here for today is the 5 important steps. Most important: counseling. it's very, very essential that when you start your procedures, when you think of, yes, now I have to think of a study abroad plan, essential that you have to, yes, why so? Okay. Hello. I hope everyone can hear me now, because I got to know from my pal that there is, okay. So, when you choose abroad study plans, counseling is the most important part that you have to look at, because counseling session will give you in and out about everything. It helps you to understand right from the basic of what to choose. So essentially, what course you're going to study. The counseling session will allow you to understand what other than your academics can you do, or why you should be taking a relevant course that is close by to your academics, because then it helps you to have an understanding what it leads you to in terms of the scope in that particular destination that you're choosing in. Okay, I think there's some problem and people are not able to hear me. Hold on just a second. Hold on. I'm not sure. I hope now, am I able to hear? Am I audible? Sorry. Am I audible to everyone? Am I audible? If yes, just say yes. Be louder. Over. Hello? Yes, you are audible. Fine. So, I'll just go right from the start. As I was saying that studying abroad, important factors, 5 essential steps that you need to consider, take care of is, first step is counseling. Very essential that you pick up a good counselor, a good agency that can help you, or a good organization who can put forward, a complete process for you. What happens is, at the counseling session, the counselors normally guide you through the whole procedure, right from choosing the country, the right country, because there are students who have multiple country options in their mind and they are so confused which country to choose on. So very essential that you meet a counselor and she guides you based on the study that you're planning to look in. Essential that you choose a right course. Sometimes students are very clear, they have done a civil, they would want to get into civil. Sometimes students are not sure, they have done a BBA but suddenly want to go into analytics. So it's essential when you meet a counselor, the counselor guides you with the right kind of course that you can choose. Hold on, I think there's a volume problem. No. Okay. So essential that you get to know in a counseling what course you're going to study. Why a course? Because we have to also see the visa perspective. It's not just the course choosing thing, but it's also essential that we have to take you at the visa stage. So is the High Commission accepting the core relevancy? Multiple times it does happen that when you are applying for a visa, the High Commission looks at one of the either they'll see that your previous study should correlate with what you want to study, or maybe sometimes it's the work experience that will correlate with what you want to study. So what happens is that when a student who comes with a mechanical background but has never worked in mechanical, has been working in IT, can look up at both courses, either mechanical or IT. But ultimately your interest has to be in that. So meet a counselor who can guide you, tell you as to whether this course is of a great interest for you, whether this course leads you to the kind of job securities that you're looking at, because the country has to essentially have that kind of scope when you look for particular country. So choosing a country, choosing the right course, step 1. In the same counseling session, you also get to know about the various tests that you need to take care of. Essential that you understand IELTS, PTE, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, SAT requirements, because multiple countries have multiple requirements, but 2 things are there. One is the English language requirement, where IELTS, PTE or TOEFL would come into the picture, and otherwise there are these skill set requirement which will cover up the GRE, GMAT thing, which is basically needed in US and Canada. Australia, New Zealand, UK, a few colleges in Canada, Singapore, Ireland will not need a GRE and GMAT, but language definitely, because India is an English, it's a non-English speaking country, and to prove that you're competent enough in English, it's very essential that you take up an English language test. So your counselor guides you with what tests can be taken, at what competency you have to take in. But Subhash sir said it's live, is audible. Oh my god, I don't know.
Comments.
Am I audible to everyone? Because I have... Am I audible to everyone now? Kishore, but I'm not understanding because I'm completely on a full volume mode and I'm wondering why is it that not anyone able to hear me. Can everyone hear me now? Yes, I've disconnected the Bluetooth. There's no Bluetooth anymore. But I'm wondering why is it that I can't, why no one's able to hear me, because all my audio settings look perfectly fine. A very low volume, but my mobile has a complete high volume and not even on silent mode. I've kept it on high volume mode. Okay, Faz, I can see that you've written no volume. No volume is very low. Oh God. Fine. So, am I audible now? Because I'm a little more closer to my phone. Again, Chetanji, you said that it's very, very low. Chetan says it's very low. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Can everyone hear me? No? Shahbaz, you said you can't hear me. I am really confused what should be done here. Yes, Atif says that ma'am you are audible now. Okay, if maximum people says that I am audible now, then I go ahead. First you said there's lots of background sound, but I'm sitting in a cabin where there's no sound from outside. Okay, I'll do one thing fast. I will restart my live if it's like that. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. I'm coming back. Hold on. The 5 steps that you need to take into consideration while you think of study abroad plans is: 1. Take a counseling session. Very, very essential. When you take up a counseling session, a counselor guides you to everything. Right from choosing the country to the course, shortlisting the colleges or universities, applying to them, helping you with the offer letters, helping you what the kind of funding you need to take care of, what the kind of investment that you're going to make in, how the returns are going to be planned, what it leads you to when it comes to jobs, how you have to plan your study abroad, flying, and accommodation plans. So all this will be covered up in a counseling session. Good that you are taking a proper counseling session. I think there's a problem with
announce FB pe aa jao sare stuff.
I told people to come in. I would request all those who are on Instagram, I would request, can you just shift into FB, because FB has a good volume. I understand people on FB because I'm having 2 mobiles in front of me and Insta is not working well. I think we should go ahead with FB. Yes, people can come in on FB and we will talk in there. I'll end up the session on the Instagram. I'll go ahead with FB live. Okay, thanks. Yeah. Okay, so now I think sorted. Just give me a minute. So sorted, we are here. So now, as we were talking about the 5 essential steps, I've covered up the first one, that is taking a counseling session. Very important. When you take a counseling session, it will give you an in and out about the country, how you can plan your finances, what it leads you to, everything. Now, second essential step, applying. Very important. Your application will decide whether or not you will be accepted into a university, or an institution or a college or not or so. And to understand how the application procedures go, essential that you know that when you apply to a university, what are the deadlines that you need to keep into consideration, because many colleges will have a certain deadline and few countries like Australia, they never have a deadline. Canada, they never have a deadline. Canada, colleges particularly, they never keep a deadline. It's a first come first serve. Sooner you apply, better and higher the job prospects for you. So essential that you understand the deadlines. However, if you apply to a prestigious university, which we talk about like the Ivy Leagues in the US, maybe the Russell's Group in the UK, maybe the T9s in Germany, or maybe the Group of 8s in Australia, it's essential that you understand the deadlines of these universities, because the prestigious universities have a huge number of applications coming in. So essential that you understand and then push in your applications. Step 3, planning your finances. When we talk about finances, scholarships are something that students will majorly look at, and to understand each university scholarship and the kind of funding that will give you a little relief, when it comes to scholarship. There is usually a tuition fees when you study abroad, and I recommend you to plan your budget in a way that you will expect somewhere between 10 to 15 lakhs mediocre and then higher, for the good university. So essential that you understand your finances, plan them well. Only the financial part comes in when you have put in an application to the university and you have been offered a seat by a university. So there are two types of offers which universities normally give. One is there is conditional offer letter. When you meet the conditions of a university, then there are universities which will give you unconditional offer. So there will normally be two conditions. One is an IELTS requirement and one is your academic requirement. So when you meet both these requirements, the universities will give you a confirmed offer letter. Based on that, you can apply for your loans. So in case if you are planning to look up a loan, talk to your counselors. The counselors help and guide you as to which banks, what is the way you can push in an application for a loan. And then once your loan is approved or you are making a self-funding, go ahead and pay the fees. But before that, also do check people who qualify for good scholarships. The scholarship percentage may range 65, 70, 80, 85, and depending on that you will get a certain scholarship from a university. That depends from university to university and country to country. Not all the countries will have 100% scholarships, or not all the universities or countries may have no scholarships. So you will have to check for the country, for the scholarship with your country counselor to understand the kind of investment that you're making, the kind of scholarships you're getting, so that you can manage your finances accordingly. Okay. Working on applying on scholarships can also increase your budget and lower down your budget depending what is the kind of investment you're making and what are the kind of scholarships that you're getting. So essentially you understand the scholarship part while planning the financial part as well. Step 4. Once you're done with getting your scholarships, funding is done, you've got the confirmation of your seat enrollment from the university, then you have to plan your student visa. Student visa for every country is different. It is sometimes a little complicated, sometimes it's at a very ease, sometimes there's an interview by the Visa High Commission, and multiple times there are no interviews for some countries by the Visa High Commission. So you have to check with your counselor as to what you can do in terms of getting your visa successfully done. When you study abroad, you will usually need a visa, and that happens prior you travel to a country. Make sure to check the visa regulations, because some countries, as I said, some embassies will not call you for interviews, some embassies will call you for interviews. Interviews basically for USA is an essential part, because that way the Visa High Commission officer will have its own questions to understand what are your long-term plans when you're thinking of applying to US as an option. Countries like Canada or countries like UK or countries like Australia and New Zealand, they don't have an interview, but for UK there is a visa application submission that you have to do directly to the VFS office. Also, without the right visa, your study dream may not get successful. So you have to have an understanding when a counselor guides you throughout. understand what country, what visa regulations and what documentations. This has to be, well in advance, because then you'll have enough time or say breathing period to get your documentations done right. Once you're enrolled, you have to pay, and after payment your visa happens, and once the visa is done, it's a different time frame for every country, maybe in a day, sometimes it may take 4 months, 3 months also, so depending, you can talk to your counselor and have an understanding in the visa part as well. Last, student housing. So I never say plan your travel or housing before your visa, because if there is any problem that your visa gets stuck, then your housing and ticket booking, whatever you've done also gets stuck. So plan your accommodation and plan your tickets only once your visa is approved. For accommodation internationally, there are university campuses which have on-campus accommodation, and there are off-campus accommodation. On-campus accommodations are preferably suggested for students who are minors, like under 18, so that for security reasons, and they have to be on campus at least till they turn 18. But students who are not minors can choose to stay off campus, and essential that you be off campus, because then that way you can like 4-5 students staying in one apartment with 2-bedroom hall, kitchen, a common lobby, so you can share and bring down the expenses of your accommodation. Plan cooking together, which helps you to save on money. Plan accommodation which is near to the university campus, that way you can save when you're traveling as well. So accommodation planning needs to be done well in advance. Okay. If you prefer to arrange your own accommodation, like people, also students sometimes say that I have my relative there and I would want to stay with them, well and good, because that helps you to save a lot on your living expenses. But then people who don't have at all relatives in any country, then they can choose, and advice does help you to go in groups, because then we connect you to different students going to same destinations, which will help you to understand whether what investment you're making in terms of the accommodation planning as such. Last but not the least, fly. So planning all this and not flying, so you have to plan your fly accordingly. Check with your counselors who can help you out with what ticketing costs will be involved, and sooner you apply for all these procedures, start well in advance, because then you have enough time to book your ticket, because last moment tickets can cost you really high, and tickets taken well in advance will have a good impact on saving on your money part as well. I know 5 steps are too less to say that these are the only 5 steps to study abroad, and there are lots of things that you need to plan. For that, we recommend you meet a good counselor. We at Advise, we have experienced counselors who will provide you exceptional services. They'll guide you right from the counseling till you reach the country, and if you want, we can come to drop you at the airport also. Kidding. Okay, so now we start ahead with the Q&A. Any questions that you have can shoot. Questions. Any questions that comes up, maybe related to how, what, when, anything. Questions. Will make services to Norway. Okay, Krishna, unfortunately we don't deal with Norway. We have 16 plus countries representation with 750 university tie-ups, and unfortunately Norway is something we don't look into. But if you just tell me as to what is an exact plan that you're looking in, because see, either of the things works out. Either you want to study, immediately come back, either you want to study, work for some years and then come back, or either you want to study, settle down. If either of these 3 things are you're planning in, then I would suggest looking for other countries also, because unfortunately we don't deal with Norway. But if you really want us to help, meet up a counselor and see how they guide you further onto it. Shahzad Patel says, is it possible to go to the US on a student visa with family? What I understand is that you can take in your family. Majorly it is for undergrads, because they are minors, and taking your parent guardian is allowed. not sure of the other one that you're talking on, I can do one thing is, if you can leave your contact in the chat box, we'll put you through a US counselor and she can guide you further with these procedures and understanding. Diksha Deshmukh is asking, what about the backlogs history if one has? Will it affect getting admission at US universities as well as visa procedures? Diksha, will depend on what number of backlogs you have. Some universities will accept applications if you don't have any backlogs in the last 2 years of your degree. Some universities look at 10 or maybe 15 max, and some universities don't look at more than 5 backlogs. So you will have to, we'll have to understand. Shazad, thanks for your contact. We'll get back to you on this. Atif Kupe says, ma'am, I have done first diploma and then degree. For masters, do I have to arrange diploma transcripts also? Atif, which country you are applying, I have no idea on, but yes, you will have to submit all the documentations when we apply, right from 10th, 12th, if you have done diploma, all the diploma mark sheets, all the degree mark sheets and their passing certificates, passport and IELTS as well. For few countries, you will need SOP and LORs, like UK particularly at the initial stage, at the application stage, you do need the SOP and LOR as well. So my brother has 4 or 5. Your brother has only 4 or 5 backlogs. So is it fine? Yeah, completely fine. We can go ahead, Disha, with the applications. Yes, 4 and 5 is not an issue. Questions? Welcome, Atif. Questions? So no more questions. If there are no more questions, we may end up the session. Welcome, Diksha. If there are no more questions, any questions that pops up and you would want to understand whether, what, how. No questions? Okay. Thanks everybody for coming in, and just keep watching. We will be having few more lives in the upcoming few days, and then you will get more information. Okay, Atif, so you're looking in for Canada as an option, a right country right now with the current situation, and if settling down is an option for you, definitely Canada works best. Shahzad, which country is best to settle down? Canada, no doubt there. With the lowest fees, low living expenses, is the right option right now. Questions? I would recommend that you can go to adwise.in. Pick up a country, pick up a city that you are in. We have 25 branches around India. Pick up a city that you are located, and if we have a nearest branch to you, contact us. Or we are also live with virtual counseling. So anyone who is really interested, can't visit the office, can opt to take up a virtual counseling. That will help you. To understand all these 5 steps, and the counselor will guide you through. Shahzad, except Canada, then definitely you can look up Australia, you can look up US as an option. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for coming, and we see you next in our next live. Take care. Bye-bye.